Welcome back to Love Your Weekend. Now, with a big day, I'm sorry to remind you, less than 2 weeks away, people across the country will be busy prepping for the meal of the year, Christmas dinner. It's only a Sunday lunch, good heavens. But what should we be finishing off that Feast of Kings with? It's Best of British Time, and FT Drinks columnist Alice Lascelles joins us again to share her favourite award-winning festive after-dinner tipple. Now, be very careful, Alice, because we are talking to the owner of a vineyard, yes. Cliff, in Portugal. Now, it does well, your wine, doesn't it?
We've done well with it. Well, I was a bit worried at first that we'd make plonk.
Yeah.
And when I read the World Book of Wines about the Algarve, it says they have 4 cooperatives, and what they basically do is bottle headaches for tourists. But my winemaker came from the Adelaide, the Barossa Valley.
Yes.
And he said, they're not stupid, they'll learn. They just don't make it because they don't know how. So we were the first to do it. I'm really thrilled. I called it New Life because it gave new life to my farm. And I said, maybe it'll kick it all off in the Algarve. And now, having been the first winery, there are now 45.
So it's all down to you. I remember you saying to me, once my wine's doing better than my record. Alice, over to you. So these, we always call them at home sticky drinks. We don't have them very often, but if you have a big miss, would you like a sticky drink? So these befores or afters?
Yeah, so these are all sort of digestifs of a sort, so something to really just enjoy, indulge in at the end of a meal. Yeah.
Did they calm the stomach and things like that? Some of them say, oh, lovely to have that, so that
That's
right. Historically, a lot of them would have done that. They'd have had botanicals in them that would have helped your digestion, but I'm not sure we could make medical claims for these drinks.
Well, my father would just be Alka-Seltzer, so it's all right. This sounds much more fun. So what have we got?
OK, well, the first one is a lovely, fiery ginger liqueur. It's called the King's Ginger, and it was made for King Edward VII by his physician for his drives in his Daimler in 1903.
So we'd have a decanter of that in the back of the Daimler.
Is it a grape drink, though? I mean, they don't always make these with grapes, necessarily, do they?
No, so it would be a kind of neutral spirit, grain spirit, probably, and then lots of lovely ginger and sort of citrusy notes to it. So.
Number one, Cliff, on your bit of slate. It's got a heck of a nose on it.
It is.
It smells good.
Oh, it does. Oh, I like that.
I could drink a lot of that.
Try singing after that, Cliff Richard.
I should have followed it before I started talking. That's very nice.
It's quite fiery.
It would be a good hip flask drink, wouldn't it?
Wow.
Walking the dog.
But I like the
something.
texture of it too. There's a kind of thickness about it. Not sickness, thickness.
It's wonderfully warming for cold. I recommend the King's Ginger, as does Sir Cliff.
What's that one called?
The King's Ginger.
King's Ginger, OK.
It's a nice bottle as well, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
Very nice,
Is it just a coloured glass at the bottom, or it's not sediment, is it? No. Fine. Oh, right. Moving on. I have to be terribly circumspect about this.
I was actually cold before I came in here. I've warmed up fabulously.
Stick with us. Next one, Alice.
Well, the next one is not a liqueur, it's an eau de vie, so that means a fruit brandy, colourless, because it hasn't been aged in barrels. This one is made by a really exciting little distillery in the Cotswolds called Capriolas.
You might want some water before you try it, Cliff, after the ginger. There's some water here to sip. We're pacing ourselves here, Cliff and me.
So they're just a two-man band, and they make all of their eau de vie from fruit harvested in the local area. And this one, 1,000 Trees, is particularly interesting because it's made from apples harvested from one orchard containing more than 1,000 heritage varieties of apple.
Oh, gosh.
So more than 1,000. I didn't even know there were 1,000 varieties of apple until I had this.
I have a large volume on my shelf, a massive great book, and it's that thick, and there are about 10 apples on each page. There's an awful lot of... Number 2, Cliff, it smells of apples.
So I think of this as sort of apple in 3 dimensions. You know, it's the whole spectrum.
How does it differ from Calvados?
Well, Calvados is aged in oak barrels for a start, so you've got that colour and those caramel notes.
Well, see that. I think that could calm my stomach. That one is slightly more medicinal flavoured to me.
It's very strong.
Very strong.
So you just want a little sip to say.
You're dead right. But if you want a hit, never mind your dry martini. No, it looks so innocent in that slender bottle. My goodness me, you wouldn't even watch it.
What the volume, alcohol volume is?
So what's the ABV on this? 43%. So about like a gin or something.
43%. Gin is only 40.
Yeah, 2 of those, and it's as old as you are. Cool. That is, it's. If that was warming, that's heating, isn't it?
That's when you've had a walk on Christmas Day and it's freezing cold and you come back and have one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, I often go and swim in a river in the Lake District on Christmas Day, and that's what you need.
If I had too much of that, I'd go and swim in a river.
You just don't look that silly.
Quite.
Christmas Day
Swimming in a river. What possessed you? Just keep drinking. Next one.
Right, now we're going to Wales. This is a mead from Afon Mel and Ceredigion. And
Mead made from honey, yeah?
yes, so all mead is made from honey. My mum used to be a beekeeper, so I'm very fussy about my mead.
That wrong one, Cliff. That's 5.
Oh, that's
is that
5?
5? I
Oh,
think
that's
it's
right,
the other
yeah.
one. It's the paler one, the other end.
3.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
got it.
the one.
Yeah.
And this is a
Gosh, honey.
family farm, and they grow, is that the word? All their own honey. And it's made, as mead should be, just fermented from honey and water.
Oh, that's delicious.
I like that too.
That's elegant and just like drinking an herbaceous border, isn't it?
It's very nice, I tell you. That's really nice. Quite surprisingly nice, because you don't know what and it's not as syrupy as the others.
Yeah,
No.
it's got a nice bit of freshness to it,
Yes,
hasn't it?
it has.
I think this would make a lovely alternative to a Sauterne or a
I was
dessert
just about to
wine.
say that. I mean, it's a dessert wine, isn't
Yeah.
it? Really? It's like Sauterne or Barsac or something like that.
Yeah, and would be nice with cheese maybe at the end of the meal or something like that. So I think
Very
it's
nice, I
wonderful.
like that. That's
Yeah.
terrific.
Well, the thing is, Cliff, we haven't found one we don't like yet.
No, I know. And I hope we don't.
Delicious. You're doing well here, Alice. Extremely good. Mainstream. We haven't had a Duff one yet. These are all very nice.
No.
Quite different, but good.
Okay, well, number 4, I wanted to get a cream liqueur in there, and really Ireland is the home of cream liqueurs. So we're just going to hop over to Ireland to try this one, which is called Five Farms Cream Liqueur. And it's made from cream from 5 family-owned farms in County Cork, and Irish whiskey as well. And I feel a bit guilty drinking it, but I think it's really nice.
This slips down. I mean, you could have a mug of this, couldn't you? Sorry.
And it's got a lovely old sort of milk bottle
Yeah.
as well.
I mean, that is the flavour of Ireland, isn't it? They make these sort of things really, really well.
It's
Delicious.
classy, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
Yes, it's creamy, yes, it's rich, yes, it's like certain other creamy drinks that look like this, but this is a class act.
It's very nice.
Isn't that gorgeous?
It would be difficult to keep it in a small glass like this, though.
Very silky.
Unless you kept filling it up.
Terrific.
Wonderful.
Yeah, lovely and silky, and you really get the flavour of the whiskey as well, don't you? So,
It's delicious.
And
Absolutely
finally,
delicious.
big fan of that. And finally, well, we're going to go a bit new wave with this one. We're going to go to Scotland and taste something that's like the Scottish answer to Italian digestifs like Fernet Branca and drinks like that, you know, Amaro. So this is by a little distillery called Sweet Dram, and this is their whiskey Amaro. So it's got 9 botanicals in it. Allspice, lovage, rhubarb, cassia, lingonberry.
Wow.
All sorts
Get
of
the
different
nose
things.
on this, Cliff, this red one. It's very complicated nose.
Well, 9 fruit or whatever.
Yeah, so 9 botanicals, honey and whiskey. So there's a lot going on
It's
here.
quite smoky to sniff.
It's a bit, isn't it?
What do you reckon?
Like a...
See, that's...
Fireworks.
I still haven't found it. The bad one.
The one
The
you
bad
don't
one,
like.
no, keep looking. That's very bonfire-y. No?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, no, it's sort of-
There's much more to it than you expect.
Yeah, it's very complicated.
Lots of allspice, those kind of woody allspice notes
woody.
in it.
Again, can I ask what the volume alcohol is?
Let's have a look on this one, 40%.
40, that's sort of getting down to regular...
Modest, we're coming down a bit. They've been great. So, as you say, Cliff, we haven't found one that we didn't like.
Yeah, well,
that's
I'm
been
pleased to
really
hear.
I thought they were
enjoyable.
terrific.
I know, I feel very guilty when we test them and we tell you what they're like and we say, this is wonderful. And you think, yeah, well, it's all right for you, isn't it? You know, but
Basically, all I can say is tough luck.
That's it for today. Thanks to Sir Cliff, to Beverly and to Alice and to all our guests. Join me next week when I'll be joined by wordsmith Sandy Toksvig, the cast of all creatures great and small, and with a seasonal treat from singers Calabro. I'll see you then. Cliff, do you want some more of that Irish cream? Cheers.
I haven't had this last one. I like this one. No, that's not this one.